Hi everybody, I'm Mark Chaffardini. Welcome back to the 2022 Fantastic Fest. We are excited beyond belief to talk to the filmmaking team behind Swallowed, Mark Patton, Carter Smith, and he had nothing to do with the film.
Not yet, at least. I will. Brian Cougar right here, High Def Digest, and oh my god, we're here for Swallowed!
So much energy so early in the morning.
Is the pro wrestling coming out right now? So I think, you know, we're excited to talk about this movie so much, but first, like in The Sound of Music, we have to start at the very beginning. So, where did it all begin for you both in movies? Was it something you saw on your parents' television at home? Was it a movie? Where did it all begin for you both?
Dolly Parton.
Yes.
I mean, literally, the plan was I would be a country western singer. And I had one of those heartbreaking, prepubescent voices. I could sing really vitriolic, hateful country songs and sound really good. And so I always knew I was going to be famous. That came with the territory of being me. And then at 17, I realized, because of being gay, I actually didn't go to Nashville. I went to New York instead. And so I chose actor over singer. And then I got on a plane with $130 and went to New York, followed my stewardess wherever she was going. I thought, I'll go there, it's got to be safe. And that's how I entered the picture. And then I got an agent pretty quickly, where I know now why I did get the agent. For commercial reasons, I could make a lot of money on being an all-American boy. But it had a big sign that said, oh, if you're an actor, don't knock on this door, just put your picture under. And I thought, it doesn't apply to me. Because I'm not really an actor yet. I want to be an actor, knock, 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 knock. And the owner opened the door, and I was signed to them for...
You!
Yes, you come back at 11:30 to meet my wife, and they later told me, they were like, we didn't care. It's like, I had the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the skin. It was like, we knew we were going to make bank on you.
Yeah.
So. And then it turned out good because they booked my first Come Back to 5 Times DVD. So they took me into another realm where I could go someplace.
That's cool. It was. And you said Dolly Parton. Was there a certain music video or song that?
Oh, we did, honey. You're so we didn't have videos. There were no videos. No, the Dolly Parton show.
Okay.
Love is Like a Butterfly, and it was after the Louisiana Hayride, and we had a whole lineup of country western songs, and with the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, we literally listened to all of that, and there were no videos. There was just like, she was just a creature that, her and Cher, now it's very interesting that I ended up with Cher, because I mean, I idolized Cher, and I'd watch that show every week, lay on the floor, and my dad was like, what do you see in her? I mean, she's like ugly, and she doesn't have any boobs, and I was like, oh no, she's just perfect.
She's fabulous.
The shoes, you know, like, and now I can see myself as a little boy, and I think, oh my God, you were just a fucking flamer, honey. You were all that. But it was just a dream world to me, and I knew I belonged in it. I absolutely knew that I belonged in it. So when my big break was with Cher, you know, at one point I was laying in bed with her, we were supposed to go someplace, and we became like, you know, best buddies. And she was like, she wanted to wear this particular dress, right? So we got in a limo and went over to her old boyfriend, Gene Simmons' apartment, which is basically his fuck bath, you know? And she said, oh, I don't really want to go out, do you? And I was like, not really. She's like, well, let's just watch the VCR, because VCR was new, and he had all gold records and a mink bedspread, and we're just laying there, and I just thought, is this the way that it was supposed to be?
And then this was bound to happen.
This is it, and there I'm laying there with Cher and talking to Gene Simmons, and I just met everybody in the world, and I thought, this is where I'm supposed to be, so.
That's incredible.
Now Carter, top that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no time. I have like a story that you've heard 1,000 times before about being a kid that goes to the store to hoard VHS tapes and bring home like anything from the horror section. Like that was me. So like fully, like I was old enough, or young enough or old enough. Like VHS did exist, but it was like, you know, it was one of those like anything and everything horror.
Yeah.
From a very young age. I mean, I grew up in a small town, and you know, just kind of, I would like I think that it was a way for me to escape the weird little small town that I lived in, which is, you know, kind of very much like the town in the movie. I've kind of ended up going full circle and going back, but a friend of my sister used to go to these dance classes, and there was we would go to the video store while she was in dance class, and we would go and wait to pick my sister up, and this mother of one of the other kids would always see my movies, and she was like, "Oh, you like horror movies?" I was like, "Yes," and I was like 11 maybe, and she's like, "Okay." The next week she showed up, she had like an unmarked VHS tape. She's like, "Here," and I took it home, and it was The Brood.
Oh,
And
yes.
like, I was 11, I had no idea what I was watching, but I was like, this is fucking it. Like, I was like, okay, I get it, I'm in, I'm all in. And, you know, I mean, I guess it really, you know, it started there, but kind of hooked there. Like, I was hooked at that point.
I love her. Like, I love the interlocutors too, the angels who come, like, my drama teacher gave me a copy of After Dark magazine. Said, "Don't let anybody know that you have this. Here's two.
Yeah.
Get out of here really quick." Because she's an old lesbian alcoholic, and she was like, "But there, the roadmap is right there."
Yeah.
I mean, like I knew where to go. Here, how to get a job.
Yeah. The thing, I remember that woman's, I don't remember her name, but I remember her face so clearly, and I remember that weird handoff that happened in the waiting area.
She's an angel.
Yeah, she
came
was.
to this
Yeah.
day.
An angel of body horror.
So you get a situation where you have these seminal moments where it becomes like it's a seed that's planted in you and grows, and it becomes your North Star as you move forward. So can you talk about the pitch of Swallowed? I mean, stay with me. It's a drug running movie. Stay with me. It's about a adventure movie. Stay with me. Bugs.
Yeah.
Stay with me. But keep going.
Well, the good thing about Swallowed is that I didn't have to pitch it to anybody.
Really?
Like, I mean, yes, there was a period at the beginning when we were looking for financing and we were sort of sending it out and doing that whole thing, but like, it was always sort of created from the beginning to be something that could be done really guerrilla style. So like, we weren't looking for millions of dollars. So there wasn't, because everybody that we did send it to said no.
Okay.
And it's for one reason or another, and it wasn't a pitch, it was always the script, and they were like, "We love the script, we love these characters." I don't know. And I was like, okay, well, because it was meant to be a film that we didn't have to wait for permission to make. Could be done on a scale that's small enough that like it was like, okay, well, we'll just go make this movie, which is, incredibly liberating and freeing after spending so much time, developing stuff and working on stuff with producers and studios, and it's just a different way of telling stories.
Well, it was also, I don't know if it's ensemble is the right way to describe it, but it's a very intimate film, very honest. And one thing I noticed is that even your aspect ratio was very constrained. So did that affect the blocking and the storytelling to make this thing feel tighter and get you guys more into it?
I mean, we shot in 4:3 specifically because I wanted close-ups of faces that filled the frame.
Okay.
Where it was literally edge to edge was like a big face. And like anything in widescreen, I didn't want like a face and then 2/3 of the screen to be empty.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew going in that there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to play out in close-up.
Okay.
And that I wanted to feel claustrophobic. Not only are we in that cabin for a bunch of the film, but like in those remote, big, wide open places, I wanted them to still feel somehow claustrophobic.
I thought about when we were watching it last night, the shots of the cabin by itself in the middle of and the hell that's going on inside of that.
And it's so pastoral,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
beautiful, but right inside that door, there's a nightmare is taking place.
my parents are gonna die when they see this movie. this is our family cabin, and like, that cart that they bring his body on is like how we bring the supplies into camp from, and like that bowl that she puts down is like, that's our dishwashing bowl, and like that red cooler is my dad's, like, it's like all gonna be, it's gonna go, hopefully it'll go over well. I think.
And your white Jeep, right?
Yeah, and my Jeep, yeah, it's all, yeah.
And
it's
he's
all in
going
the
on the
family.
poster, my parents are gonna die when they see this.
Yeah.
Which his mother has, in the outhouse has, like, it's all dolled up.
Yeah.
With magazines, and it's just hysterical.
Like little decorations.
Yeah,
and
little
things.
toys and stuff in the outhouse. So.
That's great. Was there a moment for either of you during any part of the production of the movie where you kind of stepped outside of your body and said, "Holy fucking Moses, this is good"?
For me, it was seeing them on set. Like,
Okay.
you know, and actually, and just
Coming together.
once we actually started shooting, and I think that, I mean, a big moment was when Rich, Mark's character, enters the scene, and then finally we have all four of them in the same room at the same time. It was like sparks. That was pretty incredible, because up to that point it had been just the boys, just the two of them, or just the three of them, but then that one moment when Rich enters.
It's so funny because, you know, I didn't know what they were doing, and I mean, they were working in a completely different style than, you know, like, I'm like Maureen Stapleton in a big red dress, and it's just like, it's a totally different vibe. And I was watching them, it was beautiful to watch them last night, but I had this idea that I was like, this is really good. Once I got past the hump that I was actually going to do it and committed to it, I was like, wow, this is really just what you asked for, and I'm going to make it really good. I've got this. Nobody would ever give me this part. Like, if it was a big movie, no, I would have been shoved to the side. But I took the bone and I gnawed on it, and I think it's going to change the trajectory of how people see me, which is great. But I remember thinking with Cooper, because he's like very passive, you know, but like I didn't really get the aspect of his vibe until I saw it on screen. But I kept going like, honey, you know, you can sit there all you want to, but I'm going to walk away with this movie, so you better wake up. You're trying to get out of this, you know, this is life and death here, so you better go for it, I'm going to eat you. I don't want to, but I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I will.
That's a good answer.
I will take it all and run with it. So I love it, and then I knew. I knew. And then when the reviews started coming, the reviews for this were just unbelievable. And for me specifically, they're like, I could write them myself. And and I know there's a lot of goodwill towards me and generosity because of Scream Queen and this and that.
Well, people have been waiting to see you in something like, you know, something that maybe not like this will take them by surprise, but I think people want to watch you.
Well,
and any chance that they can get, they're so excited to like see you and
I think people wanted me to succeed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, which is really a nice thing to have. I remember when I was shooting Nightmare on Elm Street, right? The transformation scene, which is I think is beautiful, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like the way that it moves and everything. And the man said to me that was pulling focus on the film, said to me, "Oh, dude," and he said, "You know, I've only ever seen a performance like that one time, and that was because he shot on Timothy Hutton's movie, Ordinary People." And he was like, if this were a genre film, that would make you a star. And I always had that in the back of my mind, that I really have the stuff. I know that deep down inside I do
the stuff.
You know, the magic. It's like going to bed with Cher. It's like, I'm supposed to be here. And the universe will make it happen.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was glad that I showed up. Now I can't read the reviews anymore because I keep waiting for the next one to come that says, "Oh, you're a piece of shit." You know, like I keep waiting.
Once you get your fill of nice things that people have said, then it's okay to stop.
Stop.
It's like back away from the phone.
I feel like I'm
computer.
looking for the one where that guy from the what's the name of that? What's the most Variety or something like? There's one guy that just hates me. I don't know why.
There's always one.
Yeah, he reviewed Scream Queen, and he was like, there was nothing about Freddy Krueger and blah 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 blah. And I was like, did you read the title, dude? And he got personal, like really personal. And then I realized this guy's like a 61-year-old gay guy, and couldn't handle it. He's the one that, and I may get everything wrong, he's like attacks girls in their bodies. Like she's not pretty enough to be Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff. It was the same guy, and I was just like, wow, this is sick. And so, but that was my one bad review for
Well, hopefully he doesn't review Swallow.
Oh, he will. He'll probably like me.
Well, let's talk about Jenna Malone, because I think one of the great things about the having 4 characters means you don't really have anywhere to hide. I think the
Yeah.
beauty of it is the honesty. So what about Jenna's character, what about her performances thought made it, you knew she was right for this?
Well, I mean, when I was writing the script, I was writing for Mark. I was
Okay.
writing for Jenna because we've done the runes together, and so I was like, okay, I can convince her to come to Maine and make a movie, and be without a flushing toilet and live in a, like in the backwoods. And, so I was writing very specifically for her and kind of knew how tough she could be and how intimidating she could be, and thought it was super interesting to take this part of like, that's normally like a, it's a guy's role in a lot of ways, traditionally, and sort of put her in there with these green nails and this bleach blonde hair and like see what she does with it, and how it's with these 2 big guys who are like 6'1", 6'2", and then here's little Jenna and she comes in and like scares the shit out of them, and then she has like an interesting turn to take, and that it's not one note, which I think is something that is super interesting to watch and sort of structure in the edit.
Well, I've been a fan of her since she was in Cheaters. It was an HBO movie from like a number of years ago, and she was, acting on her own across from somebody with Jeff Daniels. Like that caliber, you have to know what you're doing to be doing it. And I think what you did on screen was just all 4 of you, the interactions. I think you made each other stronger.
Oh, I agree. But it's always the ensemble in the end. I mean, it's like, that's what a good director does. It's like they bring you in. Like I got mad at him at one point. And
Who, me?
no, I did. I was like really, like I'm one for like trusting. Do you know what I mean? And like, and I did not want to do the stuff with the top house. It just like, I didn't want to go down. I like, no, thanks. I'm not going to stick my head down the toilet.
I remember that.
And he said, and he's like, oh no, it's so they built the whole thing, and he goes, oh no, it's gonna be fine. We're not gonna do anything and it's like an inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. And I was like, you know what, you're really lucky, because you fucking lied to me. And
I didn't spring it on you. That was always the end of the script.
But I was always, I don't know, I was just like terrified.
You had blocked it out.
I was like, always like Linnea Quigley always says, like, when you read the script and they say that you're standing on a tombstone with some pink leggings on and your pussy,
Yeah.
you just think, oh, that's not real until you're standing
Until you're
up there.
Until it's time to shoot it.
And then, but that's, by that time you're okay. Like Rob, the guy that was the costume designer, who I loved, he did a lot of that stuff for me, because I actually did get very dehydrated in that situation. It was like 150 degrees. And
No AC, no.
nothing. And he was like doing that, and there was no room to stop. It's like, here, you're at the emergency room. We'll leave you here, and like that's how it was, because there wasn't an extra person. And but it worked for that. Like getting dehydrated, makes my face look just like a fright man.
Kept everyone on edge.
Yeah, it was perfect for Rich, because I just like, I look at it sometimes and just like, wow, that's a vase, honey. That is a vase, So.
There's a scene in Fight Club that I always like when the reality of Tyler Durden's existence comes and Edward Norton goes, we have just lost cabin pressure.
Right.
And I feel like being on the nose of the cabin, it's like, it isn't until your character that shows up, it's like, holy shit, this movie just got real. If you thought bugs and drug overdoses were crazy, until Rich comes on screen.
Yeah, there's a much more unpredictable element to
With the
Rich.
human.
Yeah, the human element is always scarier.
Well, there's nothing scarier than a human.
Yeah.
Like what they can do, like especially a pained, human. It's like.
Who's high on drugs.
Well, I think like the rage. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because like when he looks at Cooper and he was Cooper. Do you know what I mean? He was that beautiful. And it's like, and when that gets taken away from, that tool gets taken away from you, it's like, beautiful people don't even realize how you live your life in a certain way and the doors just open for you. And everybody's nice to you, and everybody sees you. But then the first time that it's like you become invisible. Like I didn't know I was famous when I was younger because I thought people were cruising. I thought, oh, they want to have sex with me, you know, because that's the world that I lived in. I didn't realize that they knew me from the movie. I just thought they wanted to like get to know me, and you know, so and it's so weird. But when those things start getting stripped away from you, and then you see it in somebody else, it can, like I just want to slap. I have certain people, and I'm not a mean person, so luckily, but sometimes young vain boys, I just want to slap them and say, oh, honey, you have no idea what's coming your way, you know, because there's a price to pay for everything.
Yeah.
And so, and I think to get to act out on a person like that, you know, it's like he still wants to be seductive. It's like, you know, I love you, I won't hurt you, you know, people hurt me. And just how ugly it is all it is. I said when you're beautiful, it's like you get paid for it on the way up and you pay it back on the way down. So, you know, every dollar you got to give it back to somebody.
You got to do that.
That is wonderful to be on it. Yeah, but it's there was that antagonistic feeling, and I was a separate from them. I mean, I came in later. And they were all bonded on each other, and I thought I got the vibe real quick, and I was like, okay, you can go with this, or you know, I know how to take control of the crowd. So it's like, no, I'll let it go. It'll be fine.
That's good.
We'll have fun. But they're going to find out who they're playing with here. So
Right, yeah, you're going to show them.
listen, if I would take my veneers off so that I could like get that mouth thing going.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I was just having the veneers redone.
Uh-huh.
So it was like I just said to the guy, leave them off. And I was like, and I showed up like that with people that I didn't know. You know, it's like
Show up in backwoods Maine and
yeah,
you
with
fit
the
right in.
teeth, you know, little pointy teeth, and you know, but it was like perfect. You know, it's like I'd see the way that Rich's face sits in the camera. It's just like, oh my God, he's gonna disappear into himself in a second. So.
I like that. If you can insert your character from Swallowed into any movie that's out there to make it better, what movie would you want?
Oh, I have been going through my mind of things that I would like that I now know that I can do.
Yeah.
That I didn't think that I could do. And I would love to play the Ron Liebman part of Angels in America.
Oh.
I like that really sucking energy from everywhere.
Yes.
And I love that because I didn't know I had that capacity. It was sitting there all along. And but when Carter said to me at one point that this was the new, if I continued in my career, that this is the parts that I'd be playing, you know, because I would have moved into the character roles. And now I'm playing a part in the next movie that is, you know, it's like, it's sort of based on, in my mind, it's like the guy from Succession.
Okay.
You know, the dad.
Yeah.
And it's that's the way it reads. He's just like calls people pussy, and he's like nobody's good enough for his daughter, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, there is this fragile part of me. There's no way I can do this. Nobody's gonna believe me. You know, it's like I'm gonna be like, and then it was like, just fuck that. You know, I mean, like just go into it and let it happen. And that's what I'm doing now. So I just know there's really good stuff coming for me. I mean, I can feel it.
No.
Yeah. And I'm just like, whatever it is, I'm open to it, you know. So I've gone about as far as I can go.
Was there a movie you want to see him?
I mean, I want to see Rich in every movie, to be honest. Like, you know.
Sleepless in Seattle.
I just want more Rich. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, he's the guy at the coffee shop.
Right.
Yeah. I was talking about, I would like to hit Rich on stage so that you could really, really calibrate the performance in a way that's like, I don't know if you've ever acted before, but like when you really get it down, it's like going on a ride. It's like an e-ticket ride, you know, and it's like you can't make a false move. And I'd love to have that, to repeat it again.
No, I don't. I totally get it. I was a theater, I had an agent, I was a model, Husky catalogs back in the day. TV shows, yeah, I did it all. So that's
$25 an hour was a lot.
Right. yes, it was.
It's like, we got you a job for $75 an hour. You're going to be the ass of Levi.
Yeah, basically was.
They clothespin you in.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And also, it's obvious hearing your stories, you're both cinematic aficionados. Are there any particular scenes in movies that have always stuck with you that helped shape your creative life?
Well, you'd be disappointed in what I'm going to say. So.
I will not.
I lived The Devil Wears Prada. So,
I mean, that movie's great.
I think it's like, and like it's so funny because he's, you know, like a big deal in fashion, Carter is, and that's my dream world. You know, like that's. My,
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
it's not all The Devil Wears Prada. I
Yeah,
understand.
I mean it is sometimes, and when it is, it's fun. But like, there's a lot of other.
Oh, I know there's a lot. Of
It's not quite so
hateful,
glossy all the time.
Yeah, but I want it to be glossy.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
I
Everyone
that
does.
fantasy.
Everyone
You know?
does.
I mean, I want the Vogue closet,
Yeah.
boys version.
I go back to The Brood because like there's something about like how horrific but also at the same time beautiful that movie is. I like, to me, like her hair as she's there with that like that cape sitting there, you know, showing her babe, like to me like it's stylistically, like the sets, the clothes, the light, all of it was so well done and beautiful at the same time that it was horrific. And like to me, like that's the most interesting thing to explore always, is like where those two things overlap.
Okay, and for me, I lied. So mine is actually when I was a kid, my dad took us, my mom went to church and she said, don't take those kids to see Bonnie and Clyde, which is like exactly where he drove us right down. And it was Bonnie and Clyde, Last House on the Left, and the third at the drive-in was In Cold Blood. And In Cold Blood
What a good triple feature.
has, if I could do anything, I would do that. And I don't know if I want to do particularly In Cold Blood, but I want, like this is pretty close to it actually, of like the terror of being out in the middle of nowhere and just having all that space around you too. You know?
That's good.
Actually, you could do that on stage. Actually, you could actually do Swallowed on stage.
Swallowed would be
Think
good
about
on
it.
stage actually, yeah. It'd be fun.
Well, guys, thank you so much for bringing Swallow to Fantastic Fest. I think you guys have created a brood, a template, something for the next generation.
I
You can just
Devil Wears
imagine
Prada.
somebody
Yeah.
just like giving that to the next
Yeah, if
generation.
The Brood and Devil Wears Prada had a gay baby.
Well, I hope that like on the TikTok somebody like gets to use Rich's voice.
Yes.
Like of the wrong cocksucker.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice
to meet you.
It was so nice.
Yes,
That was great.